Hi, I'm Sean,
And I'm Blanca.
and today we're going to talk about
The top 5 issues that the President needs to address regarding women. As the country once again launches itself in election mode, more and more issues are surfacing to face the candidates for them to address.
even though comprising a little more than half of the population, women and issues regarding women seem to have been continuously ignored by most media outlets.
When people are asked about it, however, certain issues do recur as things that need to be addressed by the future president.
Remember a few years ago when they passed the reproductive health law?
Oh yeah, I remember that. What happened to that again?
Well, that brings us to our first point, the implementation of the reproductive health law.
1 in every 10 Filipino teens is a teen mom.
Last April 2014, we have received success in declaring the RH law as not unconstitutional.
This law guarantees universal access to methods on contraception, fertility control, sexual education, and maternal care.
Like for most laws in the Philippines, the concern is the thorough implementation of the RH law throughout the country.
Hey, have you ever noticed how they depicted men and women in TV?
Oh yeah, men are usually the strong ones and women are usually the ones that are, very emotional, they always cry and all that.
Yeah, so that brings us to our next topic, which is gender stereotyping. In a study of advertisements aired in Philippine primetime, 18% of men were shown in a workplace environment compared to women's 7%.
45% of women were depicted at home while only 24% of men were.
89% of males were generally fully clothed, while 53% of females are suggestively dressed.
These are depictions in media that we encounter every day and has been regarded as normal, even though these are obviously not accurate depictions of Philippine society.
Such flagrant misrepresentation should be regarded as an issue and should be addressed with a solution.
So Blanca, what do you want to be when you grow up?
I think I want to be an engineer.
Oh, okay. So that question is actually related to our next point, which is the gender gap in occupation and employment.
2 in 5 salary wage workers are women, and they also comprise of 4 in 7 unpaid family workers.
While the Philippine population comprises of roughly 50-50 men and women, there is an obvious gap in employment and occupations.
Equal opportunity should be presented to both men and women, and nobody should be written off just because of their gender.
In the government, only 20% of elected posts are won by women candidates.
Representation in the government is important for women because it is needed for someone to represent their interests and concerns, especially for gender-sensitive issues.
Have you ever walked in the streets alone at night?
Yes, and it's hard to feel 100% safe in those situations.
So that's our next point. Protection against sexual harassment and degradation, especially in public environments.
It is no secret that women are susceptible to sexual harassment wherever they go.
Harassment in public vehicles have been attributed also to the poor traffic and transport in the Philippines.
Recently, we have been seeing Facebook posts circling around calling out people who catcall or harass women in public.
However, there are still people who believe that this is non-issue and can afford to be ignored.
But these so-called harmless acts are indicators of serious problems in our society.
1 in 5 women have experienced sexual violence even from an age as young as 15 years old.
Hey, have you ever thought about the disadvantaged women and those who do not have access to education?
Oh yes, it's probably harder for them to make a living and raise a family.
And that brings us to our next point, which is giving attention towards disadvantaged women.
On top of gender discrimination, there are extra hurdles for disadvantaged women.
It is already hard for disabled and uneducated men to find jobs, and it is even harder for disabled and uneducated women.
The gender equality movement should cover all people, not forgetting those who are disadvantaged. So there you have it, guys.
These are issues you might want to look into when choosing who to vote.
Remember,
Vote
vote
wisely.
wisely